Okay, folks, I think we have this. Show our faces now.
Hey,
Hello,
everyone.
how are we doing?
I have a Chicago Fire shirt, and Daddy has the normal.
The normal, I have a different thing every day if I can manage it.
And me too.
So we're going to try and kick this out in 20. I'm determined today we're going to do it. Anyway, Redmond, how are you?
Good.
Good,
Normally.
I'm glad to hear it. That should make for a reasonably decent day for talking. So we will start off with the results from the weekend past.
Yep, and what we thought. So it looks like mine got treated not great. I gave it a 3-0 to Eintracht Frankfurt, and you thought it was going to be a draw, Dad, so...
Yeah, well, let's run down through them quickly. Frankfurt won the Rhine Derby. Juve women beat Fiorentina in the Supercup for women in Italy.
I thought it would go
to penalties. Yeah, you thought they'd win after penalties. Plateau United started off the season well with a good 3-0 victory in the Nigerian Premier League. Fingers away from that. I know what you're prone to do. And Colo Colo,
I was actually the same score.
Yes, well done. You got one right.
No.
But Colo Colo, they won, so they're off the bottom. They are not in great shape, but they've got a few games left. And when I checked, it's actually, I think they've only lost one now in the last 4 or 5, 2 draws and 2 wins, I think. CD Olympia and Botagua had a scoreless draw, so we weren't actually able to see highlights of that one, unfortunately. But we did see a cracker in Esteghlal against Persepolis. We'll
I'm gonna tell you first about the game. So Esteghlal starts out with a good start and scoring a 1 goal. Then they're losing track. They're literally doing that. They were down 2-0, but then Esteghlal had a goal, but it was offside, so it wasn't in. And then a last-minute goal appears for Esteghlal, and it's not offside. 2-0, and you're both like, because even the offside goal, because that was some game. It's goal of the week. Game of the week.
It was. I think we'll get to it again in a little bit, but Esteghlal going goal up, Persepolis going to anyway. The Ahli kicked off. Churchill Brothers had the biggest win, 5-2 away. So they're setting down a marker early. Again, it's after one game and the 2 biggest teams are gone to the Super League, so it's very hard to know what's going to happen there. I'm sure people who run booking offices like this crowd probably have an idea better than I do. Vlasnia beat Toitiduras 1-0 on Friday to extend their lead at the top of the Albanian top division. Liverpool in the FA Cup played against a team of mostly reserves thanks to the COVID and won 4-1 against Aston Villa, which is, I suppose...
And I was really close. I thought it would be 4-2. Just like...
Probably turn around after Aston Villa beat Liverpool youth side, basically, last year 5-0. Apparently, Tony Cascarino said that Liverpool disrespected Aston Villa by attempting to win the game. Granada got hammered 4-0 by Barcelona. It looks like they're back on form. Griezmann and Messi scoring both goals there. While male Juventus won 3-1. Interesting game. They did not play well. They probably deserved to beat Sassuolo. I had a discussion with a friend on the internet. But by and large, they did what they needed to do, especially with Inter throwing away a 2-1 lead against Roma earlier in the day, or is it in the weekend? So they're doing what they need to. AC still going strong even though they lost at the weekend.
I No,
Anyway, you can see our estimates beside it. I was marginally less awfully wrong than I was last week. Redmond, of course, you will hear every correct result he's got. Let's very quickly look at what the game of the week was. We went with Esteghlal Persepolis.
Because the game was like so tight, and that last minute goal was so good.
It was a really exciting one to watch. We got I think an 8 to 10 minute highlight of it. Persian football up to stuff, folks. It is well worth watching.
That game.
Whatever you feel about supporting the regime, if you can watch it for free on the internet, you can watch it for free on the internet.
If you don't like any of those teams, just look up Persepolis against Esteghlal, and you'll be amazed by the last minute goal.
They now know there's a last minute goal to come, so you've kind of given that away. So we can't recommend it as one to watch unknowingly. It'll be next to impossible to see this one without knowing the result. So Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayern Munich was fantastic to watch.
It was
2-0 down after 26 minutes, I think.
And then they came back with 3 goals.
Mm-hmm. There were a few games that were worth the watch this weekend.
Yeah, like
personally,
the Esteghlal again.
Watching, and this is nothing anti-Leeds, but watching Crawley Town's victory in the FA Cup was a delight as well. And I very nearly, I would have said there was a good shout for Crawley's first goal to be goal of the week, but especially because somebody pretty much said it as soon as he saw it. Goal of the weekend, as far as we're concerned, is Juventus's first goal against Sassuolo from Danilo. Do you remember that?
No.
That's the one where he's the full back and he gets the ball and he wallops it from range. And finally, would you stop? And he breaks the deadlock. Unfortunately, Juventus conceded shortly after, but they pulled 2 goals back. Later on, Varane, Ramsey and Ronaldo. Yes, you are in the picture. Anyway, this week's previews, and we don't have much time because we spent a lot of time describing things. I swear we will get this to 20 minutes one of these days. We have 12. So I'm going to start off looking in CAF, which is Africa, in Tunisia, which is always a good league to watch. Some really good teams there. On the 13th, which I'm going to have to guess is Wednesday, at 14 hours CET. CS, which I'm presuming is Club Sportif, Sfaxien against Esperance. Esperance are top of the table. These are 2 of the bigger teams in Tunisian football. Esperance, I think we're about 12 games in, and they are starting to open up a bit of a lead. Sfaxien, they're a team that can still make it there. Honestly, it's it will prove to be one of the games of the weekend, the week, I think, if you follow your African football. Sorry, by the way, I don't have any Sudanese football score tracker at the moment, if people want to hear about that. If you have a particular interest in a particular league and you want them to get a shout out some week, shout. Do let us know.
And put it in the comments down below.
Put it in the comments down below.
So we'll know what league.
Yep. Jumping on to CONCACAF, onto the same night. There's a lot of games on Wednesday that are of note. At 21 hours CET, we've got the all of El Salvador's Apertura League playoff quarterfinals take place that night at 21 hours CET. In this case, this is Sonsonate. CD Sonsonate against CD FAS. Now, Sonsonate, I think they're in their 2nd or 3rd season up in the top division. They're pretty much a new team, and they're playing literally the most successful team in the history of El Salvador. They've won most leagues. They've won the precursors of the Champions League once for CONCACAF, and you'd have to fancy them. I can't remember if it's 2-legged or not, but there's a load of quarterfinals gone. I think if you trawl around the internet, you might find them. Again, 21 hours CET on, what day is it? On Wednesday. Jumping back, I'm going to go to I'm finding a habit of making my picks of the week being the games that are on at odd times, i.e. the ones we've missed. And this one actually may be coming close to over right now. Huge game that we hadn't called for last week. A lot of the Middle Eastern or Arab nations tend to have their games on Mondays and Tuesdays, largely owing to Juma being on a Friday, so you're not going to be holding it then. But Al Sadd against Al Duhail, leave that alone, thank you. Al Sadd against Al Duhail in Qatar, the Qatar Stars League, should be a cracker. Al Sadd have Santi Cazorla, which people will know. They're starting to, again, 12 games in or thereabouts, they're starting to put some distance between them and the other teams. It's probably over by now. It started at 16 hours 45, I think, earlier today. I have heard some scores coming in. Let's have a look at Qatar. I can give you the score from this game. My game of the week is already 70 minutes in. It's 2-1 to Al Sadd. 2 goals from Bunija.
And even goals of the week is there.
Having come from behind from Al Duhail's 6-minute penalty from Ahli. Again, apologies for mangling pronunciation here, but I can't not mention this game. Al Sadd have won the last couple of games, and if the score stays the same, they open up an 11-point lead in the table. So yeah, Al Duhail need to win this one in order to bring it back down to 5 points after 14 games. We're 70 minutes into that game.
On Fox, sorry for my pronunciation. If they win, they're going to stay top of the table.
Yes, if the score stays as it is, Al Sadd take off again. Back to Europe, and we'll have a look around Europe for a few minutes. Fingers away from the orifices.
PSG against Olympique Marseille.
Olympique Marseille, as in l'OM. And this is the French Supercup. It's interesting how many Supercups are taking place so late in the season. So who knows? This is the latest one. We haven't actually predicted the scores on any of the games so far, Redmond. So after we talk about this one, let's have a look at it. Arguably Marseille, one of the most successful teams in France, PSG the other.
Really
it's
successful. And LOL is quite successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Super Cup, so who cares? But I think at this point, especially seeing as they didn't start the league well, PSG have to win everything they can. And Marseille want to get one over on them. This late into the season, it makes sense. So that game starts at 21 hours CET on Wednesday. Redmond, who do you think is going to win between PSG and Marseille?
Well, I think it might be a 2-0 PSG.
2-0 PSG.
Mbappe scoring the first goal, and then Neymar is scoring the second.
Okay. I'm going to plumb for Olympique Marseille because at a certain point you'd expect PSG might get tired of winning some nothing-y trophies. They may put out a weaker team. I'm going to say CD FAS against Sonsonate in El Salvador. Redmond, who do you think is going to win the...
CD FAS against... I have no idea what those teams are, but I think maybe that team,
CD FAS.
CD FAS.
All right, CD FAS. And
they'll win.
Sfaxien against Esperance.
Just one.
Sorry, who's going to win?
They.
Sfaxien. I'm going to say, I think Esperance have too much about them, but I think it could be a draw, so I'm going to say 1-1. Right, moving on, staying in Europe. 2 of Redmond's games, if you will. Real Sociedad against Barcelona, taking place in Sociedad. I can't even think of it. Up in the Basque Country. So that's Sociedad's home game. It's on at 20 hours on 13th, which is Wednesday. Who do you think is going to win that one, Redmond?
Well, I think think it might actually be a 4-0 Barcelona win.
4-0 Barcelona win. Sociedad had been riding high on the waves. They are sliding. Barcelona are back up to third, a good bit behind Atletico and a bit behind Madrid. But Sociedad have had a good season. They'll fancy their chances. I'm going to plumb for a draw. It's going to be 1-1. 1-1 draw is what I'm going to say. Juventus against Genoa, Redmond, 20 hours 45, also on Wednesday. All the games are almost on Wednesday this week. Who do you think's going to win that?
Juventus 3-0 win.
3-0 to Juventus. Okay.